Hello, good afternoon. Today I'm going to be making Instant Pot soup, and it's so easy, so quick, and we just need a quick meal and we want to have some leftovers so we can eat later. So this is a great option. It's so easy. I know soup isn't typically like a summer kind of meal that you would have, but it's going to be so good and it's so easy. So what we're going to do is we've got our Instant Pot ready to go, set up, and we're just going to chop up all the vegetables that we want to include in our soup. So we're gonna use a lot of stuff. So let me pull it out of the fridge and then we'll get cranking. All right, so I've got all my ingredients ready. I've got carrots, bell pepper, I've got kale, green onions, leeks, onion, and celery. So proportion-wise, just really it all just kind of depends on how much of what you want. So I'll tell you how much I'm gonna use of everything, and about how much soup it's gonna get. So from there you can just take it and make it your own and make it beautiful, add, subtract, whatever you want, and that's it. So here we go. Okay, so I'm going to use one bell pepper, and I've got a yellow one. It's just what I have, nothing special. And I'm just going to cut it, I'm going to dice it, so that way they're in little chunkies. All right, so bell peppers are diced. We're just gonna toss them in the Instant Pot. All right, next we've got an onion. I'm gonna use the whole onion, and what you do is you're just gonna cut the onion like this way so that you have a hairy end. Rihanna just walked across the room with her pants at her ankles. Great, wonderful, okay. So you're gonna wanna have two pieces that both have a hairy end, because I learned from the Food Network, and Burrell, thank you, that you keep the hairy end on and then you can dice up the onion real nice and easy. So then you're just gonna cut lengthwise like this, keeping this intact, and then you're just gonna cut them this way, and then you have perfect dices. And we got some celery, chopped up nice. So I used an entire stalk, is that what it's called? But it was like a half stalk. I didn't buy like a huge giant stalk, it was like a half stalk. And we're also gonna add some kale to this. So I've got like a large handful of kale, and I'm just gonna chop it like pretty, not super, super, super tiny, but not giant either. Okay, next we have some leeks, and leeks are some of my favorite vegetable to put in soup or to cook with or whatever. So if you've never cooked with leeks before, it kind of usually off the produce shelf will come like this. And so what I do is I cut off the roots all right here. And then you should be able to either like pull apart, or you can cut right here down the middle. And that way you can open it up. And then what you also need to make sure you do is that you, even if you've washed it before, you need to open up all of the leaves and wash them all, because the dirt gets in between the every little leaf. So there's dirt in all of the leeks. So just make sure you pull all of the leaves apart and just rewash them. So that way you don't have dirt in your soup. Unless you want dirt in your soup, of course, then go for it. And lastly, we've got some carrots. Just cut up into nice little circles, easy. So we're gonna toss this all in the Instant Pot. So next we're gonna put our liquid into the Instant Pot. So I'm gonna use 2 cartons of broth. I have chicken broth, that's just what I'm gonna use because I have it. You can use vegetable broth, beef broth, whatever you like. You can make your own homemade broth, really whatever. So we're just gonna dump that into the Instant Pot, and it's really important to make sure that you have liquid in there, otherwise bad things happen with the pressure cooker. So, and also because we're making soup, so why wouldn't you have liquid if you're making soup? At least to make sure that you have your water is covering your vegetables, and obviously you can adjust your ratio of vegetables to liquid for your own personal preference. Typically I will make it a lot more vegetable heavy, and then if I want to put more broth in it when I'm reheating, that's always an option, so that way I get everything cooked and everything done in one pot instead of having to cook it in separate batches if you want to do it where there's less vegetables, so it's like a nicer liquid ratio. But yeah, so then what we're gonna do is we're gonna add in our spices. So let's do it. Okay, we're gonna keep it simple today with spices. So we're gonna do 1 bay leaf, just plop that in. We're gonna do a little bit of thyme and a dash of cayenne pepper, as well as salt, pepper, and garlic powder. So nothing too crazy. You can change the spices depending on what kind of soup you're going for, but for a super generic soup that's just kind of plain Jane, I just keep it with plain Jane spices and just add a couple things to just kind of give it a little bit of extra something. So, and that's it. So there's really nothing to it, super easy. Now we're just gonna turn the Instant Pot on. We're going to make sure we have our vent sealed, and we're just going to turn it on manual, and I'm gonna do it for maybe 5 or 6 minutes. And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna let the pressure release naturally. We're not gonna let it release, because in that time, since there's so much liquid, there's a lot of pressure, and it's just gonna take a long time for it to actually be able to open and enough pressure released. So that extra time allows it to cook too. So there's definitely going to be some very tender, delicious vegetables in there. All right, I just opened up the Instant Pot and it smells amazing. Check it out, stir it up. All the beautiful vegetables. And you can add anything to this. You can add cooked meat, you can add sausage, chicken, beef, anything that you want. And so it's super customizable and absolutely delicious. Don't forget to take out your bay leaf before you eat it on accident. So that's it. I mean, easy as pie, a whole pot of Instant Pot soup, and it can feed us for several days. So